Okay, so since I was volunteered to go first, we're going to start with my spiel. Traffic and Ad Masters, presented by Igor Finkel. Sex sells, guys. So when we started talking about a year ago about this event, I got really excited. And I was thinking, what I'm going to talk about. There's so much things I want to bring to people, so much value I want to give people. And I started thinking about my ideals. And my ideals from the get-go, and they're still the same, were to have a profitable online business, which I'm a boss of, spend more time with my family, stop trading my time for money, and build a sustainable, scalable business in a growing industry. Not just a business where, I'm making extra $300 a week, or, just something, I'm selling this on eBay, I'm doing this here. No, I want it to be part of a live, growing industry. And this is what we are. And I searched a lot for a lot of different opportunities, and why I got stuck and I stopped on the traffic business. And I'm going to use an example that I first heard from one of my mentors, Juan Morales. And why is this business so good? You guys heard of the 49ers? Louis, don't get excited. I'm not talking about the football team. I'm talking about these guys. All right? The California gold rush. Hundreds of thousands of people rushed to the west in search of gold. Thousands of people perished. Some wealth was built, great wealth was built, but it wasn't really built by people who found this. It was really built by people who were selling them these. Picks and shovels, tools. And as traffic providers, that's what we do. We provide a very important tool. Everybody knows this formula? Products and services plus traffic equals sales. Yeah, there are a few insignificant steps in the way, but pretty much this is the formula, right? So this is why this business looked like the opportunity that I was looking for, and I truly, it changed my life. It became the opportunity that I was looking for and seeking because of the power of this business. So a little bit about me, how I got into this, since you are listening to me. So I came from the former USSR to US at age of 12. Immigrant life is not easy. Blah, blah, blah. Got in all sorts of trouble as a kid. My parents' household, education was key. So no matter how much trouble I got into and how much ghetto fabulous I wanted to be and, dressing up as a rapper and all that, my parents were very keen about me getting an education. So I buckled down, went to Temple University. I got 2 master's degrees, a master in business and a master in journalism. And I worked in journalism for a little bit, but it wasn't my cup of tea because I had bosses. Wherever I worked for, I had editors, I had publishers, I had bosses. So that's not something that I wanted to do. So I saved up some money. I actually was involved in a startup magazine called Citizens Culture. It was the first digital magazine ever published. And I made a little bit of money of it, and I decided to invest it in a field that was growing at the time. And I opened an ambulance company. These are my ambulances, guys. So my younger cousin and I, we got certs, 2 master degrees, and I got a four-week cert as an emergency medical technician. got on the ambulance, and I lived in that ambulance 24/7 for about 6 months until my cousin and I could hire another crew and buy another ambulance and buy another ambulance. And in a few years, we built that company up to having 30 employees, having 6 ambulances, and I was having a good time. I was making more money than some of my lawyer and doctor friends, without having to answer to anybody. I was my own boss. I was doing great. Life was a party. That's not actually me. So one day, I was a happy camper. I got married. I had a beautiful house in one of the most expensive suburbs of Philadelphia. mortgaged out. I had another business, a daycare center that I started with my wife, and I was making good money. I was making over $250,000 a year. I was in my early 30s. And then one morning I woke up, and instead of making over $250,000 a year, my income was $12,000 a year. A lot of people are like, how the hell does that happen? Well, a certain political organization changed the way they do business with government contractors, so on, and that's what happened to me. That's what happened to me. So I woke up and I was making $12,000. I had mortgage. There was 2 months of my mortgage is more than that. And I was making that that was my annual salary. I sat down that morning and I started counting, everything. More than that, the government demanded money back for the services that we built for. And they automatically, with a drop of a dime, put me in a $500,000 debt. So there I was. I had to cut my company 60%. I had to get back on the truck. I had to carry heavy patients up and down stairs. I literally worked myself to the bone because I started getting all these pains, and I ended up getting a spinal surgery. I went to doctors, and the doctor said, Igor, if you don't get the surgery, you're going to lose the use of your left arm in 6 months. So after I got my pennies out of my ass, I decided, okay, I need to go get the surgery, but what am I going to do? I don't know if I'm going to be a cripple after this. I don't know how I'm going to provide for my family. I was in a very, very, very bad point in my life. That's not me either, but that's how I felt. And, I was $500,000 in debt to the government. I didn't know how I was going to provide for my family, and I lost all hope. And then I started searching online, and I started looking, and I said, I had to do something. I had to make a change. I had to make a change. Something's going to change. And I got back to this formula. And thank God, I was lucky enough to find a very good mentor, a coach, that taught me the basics of the business. And then you got to remember, I have business experience from college. I have journalism experience. So all these skills started churning in me. And one thing that really, really stood out, and I understood from the very beginning, was that you can't do it alone. And the key to moving forward in this business was by aligning yourself with the movers, the shakers, and technological innovators. And that's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did. And in my first 3 months, I made $40K in the traffic and ad business. And then the rest of the year, I made over $200,000 just from the solo ad business. You guys paying attention? So, how did I do it? How did I do it? I spent close to $60,000 in education. I know that I just said $60,000 in education. My wife in Philadelphia just went like this. Okay? Because I remember a story where I just finished paying one of my mentors, and she came home and she was like, you finished paying to one of your mentors, let's go out and celebrate. I said, well, I just gave $10,000 to a gentleman in Panama. So and that it was almost a divorce type of situation. But then 2 months later, I took her and my son to Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, and business paid for the entire vacation. We were in a beautiful hotel. I woke up in the morning. My second day there, I woke up in the morning because my phone was zzz, 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 zzz. So people asking for clicks. So I sold some clicks off my phone. I got on my laptop. I sent out some broadcasts, and I sold some clicks while I was on my laptop sending out broadcasts. Got my family together, went downstairs to eat lunch in the restaurant, in the hotel restaurant. And while I was eating breakfast with my family, I was selling clicks on the freaking off my phone. Wonderful thing, the iPhone. So we ate breakfast, went upstairs, we got dressed, we went to the beach. I put out my tent with my Wi-Fi hotspot, and I put out my laptop. My son was playing in the sand, and I turned to my wife and said, holy shit, it's 11:30 in the morning. I made $1,700 today. selling clicks. And she had a tear in her eye. She looked at me, I'm getting chills talking about it. And she said, Igor, I'll never doubt you again. Because we still had that tension from that moment that I decided to invest in another coach. And yeah, I had a lot of them. I had 4 consultants, 3 coaches, 2 mentors, and a partridge in a pear tree. Yes. So, is there an easier, more affordable way to do this? Now there is. This lady's found out about it and they're celebrating. They're going to be at the VIP house later on. Introducing the Traffic and Ad Masters interactive, value-driven community. All right, guys? So what I'm proposing here, August 1st is the launch of the first ever Traffic and Ad mastermind, community, family, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be an organization inside our industry that's going to move the industry forward, that's going to influence the market. Just like organizations and industries and other facets of business, the organizations that not control, but influence the market. And that's what I want us to have, the ability to influence our market. And how it's done, first of all, it's a hub where cutting-edge training is going to be updated on a weekly basis. So you get to train new methods, new systems. And this is a very fast-paced business, guys. And if you're doubting it, then you better turn around and walk out that door right now, because things change real fast. And if you don't have a place to go where you're updated on a weekly basis with the new things that come out, you're going to miss out. Number 2, monthly webinars. The members of the organization are going to have access to monthly webinars with the big boys in the industry. And believe me, there are going to be big boys, big names, beautiful brains to pick at these webinars. Number 3, something that's very important, and I think that this industry is missing, news. How many of you go and look up news, IM News, on a daily basis? How many of you know what's going on with Google, what's going on with SEO, what's going on with Facebook? How many of you do that? Well, guess what? Successful people in the real estate industry know everything, all the news that come out about real estate. Successful people in IT industry know every new gadget and everything that's being researched. And they look at these trends and they try to anticipate what's gonna come next. That's the only way to do it, by following the news. Now, we're going to have a hub where you're going to be able to log in and have on a daily basis all this news, all the things out there that influence our industry or have a potential of influencing our industry, going to be there right for your consumption. And of course, it's going to be a space where members get to interact with each other. And members interact, teach and learn from each other, ideas introduced, greatness happens. Right? Can I get applause for greatness happens? Okay. So today, we're going to do it short. I'm going to skip a few slides. Today, we're going to have a special pre-launch offer. The organization is the price is going to be $400 to come into the organization, and $120 a month membership fee. For people at the Solo Ad Summit this weekend only, if you decide to take action and move yourself forward professionally and personally, you're going to get to be a member of this wonderful community for $250 setup fee plus $75 a month. All right? So you're getting savings. On top of that, first 20 people that sign up for this get 15 minutes Skype call with me. We're going to go over the issues in your business, and you get a personal promise from me that the lessons that deal with those issues are going to be the first lessons that are going to be updated, the weekly updated. So the launch, August 1st, First lessons and issues that are going to be addressed are going to be directly issues that interest you. All right? And why is this important? Because the world moves forward. Because this business is moving forward. And you need to move forward. Otherwise, you're going to be left in the dust. And that brings me to the wonderful camel story that I told some people yesterday. So this always reminds me of this camel story. You know, two camels are standing in the zoo next to each other, father camel and son camel. And the son camel goes to his father and said, "Dad, why do we have these two ugly humps on our back? They're ugly." And the dad looks at him and says, "Son, I'm really upset that after all these years you're asking me this. I told you many times that we are camels, the goddamn ships of the goddamn desert. And we go where no one goes. And we have the energy to do that because of these two humps. They store our energy." He goes, yeah, Dad, we're ships of the goddamn desert. But why do we have these ugly hoofs? Look at our hoofs, ugly, huge. Father looks at the son and says, "Man, you'd really disappoint me. I told you many times, we are goddamn ships of the goddamn desert. We go where no one can go in this sand. And these hoofs get us there." He goes, yeah, Dad, but why do we have these ugly lips, man? Look at our lips, all hairy. Like, why do we need that? The son, you're a real idiot, man. How many times do I have to tell you? We're goddamn ships of the goddamn desert. We go where no one goes. The sand blows, wind, and these lips, they protect from all that crap getting into our mouths. So the son looks at him and says, "Dad, I understand. We're the goddamn ships of the goddamn desert. But why the fuck do we need this in the Philadelphia Zoo?" Get out of the fucking desert, people. Get out of the desert. Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, the Traffic and Ad Masters Interactive Value-Driven Community. Thank you.